Okay. Now then,
Okay, good.
can we have the reading of the minutes, please?
Well, well, before we do that,
Oh, the
we should have the
invocation. I'm
invocation.
so sorry. Yes. And
Invocation and call, I think.
yes, and the invocation this week is going to be done by Janet, I think. Was it Janet?
That plan.
Okay, Janet. Go ahead.
This is from Black Elk, Oglala Sioux. Great Spirit, you lived first, and you are older than all need, older than all prayer. All things belong to you, the two-legged, the four-legged, the wings of the air, and all green things that live. I am sending you a voice, Great Spirit, my grandfather, forgetting nothing you have made, the stars of the universe and the grasses of the earth, which puts me in mind of the blade of grass to the farthest star.
Thank you, Janet.
The
Mm.
last phrase was mine relating to Thane, but
Hmm. Okay.
okay, on to roll call.
All
Yes.
right. Let's have a roll call, please.
Ann
Anybody can.
Bowman,
Ann Bowman. Okay.
Alex Campbell.
Hmm.
Pam Rhoda.
Janet, oh, sorry. Got Pam and Janet on the same frequency there.
Calvin Harris.
Rick Thomas.
Heather Williams.
okay.
All right. So let's go on. And Anne, would you read the minutes, please?
The January business meeting of the Mentors Association of the Prosperos was called to order at 9:03 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, January 12, 2020, by President Calvin Harris via Zoom. Present were Ann Bowman, Janet Cornwell, William Fenney, Alex Gambo, Calvin Harris, Rick Thomas, and Heather Williams. Invocation. Ann Bowman gave a reading from the prophet. Secretary Ann Bowman read the minutes from the December 2019 meeting. Corrections to the minutes are: the December meeting was held at 9:16 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, not PDST. And Leap into Sanity course, Janet submitted formatted lessons to the trustees, not to the newsletter. Janet Cornwell moved and Rick Thomas is seconded. The minutes be accepted as corrected. The motion carried. Old business. Advertising and Promotion Committee. Leap into Sanity LIS study course. William Fenney reported we plan to put the LIS lessons on our website in the membership folder. He wants to develop a widget to deliver LIS lessons once a month. Newsletter. William reported that our purpose needs to be to continually update our blog to attract and inform students. In order to do this, we need content, share ideas, and send out announcements weekly announcing new items. The Mentors Association needs to create a list of mentors who will contribute on a regular basis. Rick Thomas stated that he could set up an account for the Prosperos on MailChimp, a service we can use to establish a mailing list and send announcements. Use of Google Docs. Calvin stated he needed help putting information into folders for the Mentors Association. Hugh John Malanaphy and William Fenney will help him do this. Planning calendar. No update. Rick Thomas said he will send information about his upcoming classes for the calendar. Trustee, High Watch, and MA coordination meetings. Calvin reported that he, Rick Thomas, and Pam Rodolph are continuing their monthly meetings. High Watch Mentor Speaking Training Program. Find Yourself and Live FYL Study Group Update. Alex reported that the group restarted after taking a break over the holidays. They have a new moderator and observer who will serve for 8 weeks. Then the roles will rotate to others in the group so everyone has an opportunity to experience each role. Releasing the Hidden Splendor class. Rick Thomas stated the hotel is booked. He is creating a promo piece and announcement for the website. He will also create a calendar item for the website. New business. Mentors Training Program. Calvin stated that he is developing a Mentors Training Program, and he will incorporate the Mentors reference book in that training. Zoe Robinson sent Calvin information from another group regarding mentor training. Dues payments. Association dues have usually been paid every year during the annual meeting at our annual assembly. Since we are having assembly every 2 years, a question was raised, do we want to collect dues annually or every 2 years? We had some discussion that included some members stating we should pay dues annually. Our treasurer, Ann Bowman, will draft a notice to review at our next meeting to send to all members. The dues collected could be used for mentors and or interns for continuing education and counseling, etc., to help with further training. Monthly Mentors Association meetings. This proposal to change our meeting schedule from monthly to a different cycle was tabled until our next meeting. Next meeting. The next Mentors Association meeting is scheduled for Sunday, February 16, 2020 at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Janet Cornwell will do the invocation. There being no further business for this meeting, Janet Cornwell moved and Alex Gambo seconded that the meeting be adjourned at 10:12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The motion carried. Respectfully submitted, signed, Ann Bowman, Secretary Treasurer.
Is there a proposal to accept the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes as read.
Second.
I second it.
Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Then the motion has carried and passed. Okay, so let's get started. As far as old business, let's start with the ad and promotion. The update, as Anne has mentioned, update in Leap into Sanity and Prosperos newsletter. It has been confirmed that William Finney is continuing to work on that. William did report plans to put the LIS lesson on our prosperos.org website in a section titled Membership Folders. He will, in the section on membership, I don't know whether it'll say membership folder or not, but I guess he has a membership folder that will contain that kind of information. So however that's going to look on the website. Right now, it seems as though the bottleneck is that he needs to develop a widget to deliver LIS lessons once a month. So that's about the LIS. Is there any more conversation about that before I go to newsletters?
Yeah.
Heather has her hand up.
Oh, Heather, I'm sorry.
Okay, just a question that what William Finney is working on regarding the LIS lessons.
Mm-hmm.
That if I have a student that comes new to translation or RHS, or like Rick is going to have RHS class, that new student will have access to the LIS lesson by going to the website. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is evidently, we're in the process of trying to imagine certain sections of the website. And so this would be for a general membership section. And so that would be where they would get that information. So yes.
Does a CIT student get LIS? Or just translation RHS?
No, any student, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that with any Prospero class?
Right. That would be if you have
Have a
membership.
member.
Yeah, it's membership. So if you have a membership within the Prosperos, that would be uh, available to you.
So my CIT class coming up in April, it's $95 if you're new. There wasn't any mention of that additional fee for membership. It's got to be part of that $95.
Well, that's something we talked about fees and that before, and that was that had been uh, uh, sent to the to the trustees. So that should be something that's on their calendar, and so we're looking for more clarification from the trustees.
Okay.
And just when I got in the Prosperos, my first class was RHS, and my membership was included with that
Yeah.
Yeah.
back then.
The general guideline, I think, is that a student who is completely new to the Prosperos or completely new to the, but I think it's completely new to the Prosperos, pays $25 more than somebody who's already a member or somebody who's repeating the class, and that includes their membership for the year.
Again, that had to do with the membership fees. Now, Heather, this has nothing to do with your upcoming classes because it's not been set. So I wouldn't worry about that at this point. This is in future as we develop. And again, as I said, these fees and that are not something that we are going to be dealing with. That is something that it needs to be discussed on a different level. Okay. So you would probably get that information, Heather, or if you have questions, then that should be something that will be discussed in the executive council meetings. I mean,
Well,
trustees meetings.
yeah, we can make sure that's on our next agenda.
So we'll to get to see if what they have gotten done and to ask for that. Is that what we're going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
then our
But to answer
consideration. Okay.
Calvin, excuse me,
Mhm.
to answer Heather's question, any new student to the Prosperos, regardless of the class,
Mhm.
should have access to the LIS lesson.
Yes.
Is there a guideline for teaching class somewhere that would have all this stuff in it?
That's a good thing. Let's do it.
Well, we've had guidelines, yes.
Yes. We have had guidelines.
We'll have to republish them.
Yep.
The thing is that all of this is new again. We did have pricing and that sort of thing. So again, that is something that is being taken up, and as we move forward, of course, there will be changes that are done, and I think that right now, unless that's something that we want to ask the executive council, I don't know whether they would be ready at this point with an answer.
No, we still needs to be discussed, I think.
You're right. That's what I thought. So can we give them a chance to work that out and then get an answer? Because right now we don't have an answer. Okay. What has then what has become apparent is about the newsletter is that William is going to need some backup in the technical area so that things can happen in a timely fashion. So if you have any interest or in that technical side, then we ask that you get in touch with William and see about where you can be of assistance or as a backup person for him. Is there any more information about the newsletter or the website in regards to the technical end?
I think we might need William to give us an update on his progress and
Yeah.
suggestions. We had a meeting about the website this past week that generated some useful input.
And that's basically why that's what this is a update from that meeting. This is where we came up with him going to do the widget. That information came out of that meeting, and as part of the Prosperos Mentors Association, I am reporting on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean that's what is in this report.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that were in the report was that technical that he may need help in putting in widgets, doing whatever, because as the months go on, we're getting new students all the time, and no backup support such as the newsletter and maybe the leap into sanity. So all of that right now is on the shoulders of William. And so, as I said, it became apparent that William may need someone in the technical area to be able to back him up. And if you have interest in that, to contact William.
Yeah, we've been running so lean for so long.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then moving on a little bit further with the newsletter, William reported that our purpose as mentors is to be continually updating our blogs to attract and inform students. William did request the Mentors Association create a list of mentors who would contribute on a regular basis. Now, that was something that that he had said before, but that some of the mentors in this meeting did step up to the plate and say that they would be continual contributors. So if you feel that you would like to contribute on whatever kind of basis you can, then I suggest that you contact William so that he can have you on that list. Is there any more conversation or anything else that may need to be said about that?
No, not for me.
Okay, then going on. Another thing, because again, as you can see, all of this is the technical aspect of getting these things going. William is also creating a Google Doc where people can add a list of ideas for making the Prosperos website better. So if you have any ideas that you want to that you think might work, then if you'll go ahead and write to William, then he can then have that on a list or on a Google Doc showing the kinds of things that we've come up with and see about implementing. Is there any other conversation about that?
I don't know if you want to do a separate mailing to the Mentors Association just to say that, to see if you can, since there's just a small group here, maybe you want to communicate this out a little more so people out there might want to, respond to that and be willing to do content or something. Obviously, they'll get the meeting minutes and so forth. I don't know if that's enough.
Okay. Generally, correspondence is, if my memory serves right, is supposedly coming from the secretary of the organization.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that.
So maybe me and Ann can get together and talk and see what we may want to put out. I don't.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That would be fine. Okay. Any other conversation about that before we move on?
I'm in.
Okay. Okay. Then use of Google Docs. Okay. Um, William wants to also encourage everyone again who doesn't have a sign on to Google Docs to make sure that you sign on where needed. Okay. It's an update on the mentors folders as far as Google Docs go. I'm in ongoing conversations with Rick and Hugh John in regards to materials that we have that would be available to go into the docs, and maybe a timetable for having those docs in those folders. But I don't have a time frame yet for that, but we'll be working on that within the next few weeks. Is there any more conversation about that?
Crickets.
Okay, then moving on. Planning calendar. Okay, so Pam, is there any updates to the information in the planning calendar at this time?
Anything that I know is on there.
Okay.
And if not, then you all need to let me know.
Okay. Well, one thing I'm going to be doing either a cultural history or some other thing coming up with on those Wednesday evenings, and I think I kind of sent you something about that in the voting. We haven't really figured out what it is, but it's going to be something that would be in the learning circles, and I'll send that to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, send it. If it is written in stone, been approved, and going to happen, send it both to Hugh John and I. Because,
to Hugh Johns too. Okay.
Yes, because we're handling different parts of the calendar.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. If it's not, if just an idea or something you want to do, send it to me, and I can put it in a different type.
Okay.
A different color.
Okay. All right. Okay, then going on as far as our mentors speaking and training programs go, Alex, do you have an update for your FYL tape group at this point? What lesson are you on?
We're on lesson 19.
Uh-huh.
And we're all together still. I
Oh,
thought,
well, that.
yeah, there's 5 of us plus me,
Mm-hmm.
and they kicked me around, of course. No, we have a lot of fun. But
we actually have more than we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Pam. I forgot about that.
There you go. So that just shows that individuals are looking for group activities. So
Yeah.
I think that's important. So that's
even
excellent.
if they miss some of the group meetings, they still understand some of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate when they miss because I want to make it up for them, you know, to have a tape ready for them, but they don't want to do it. They just want to continue on. It's okay.
You do what you do. That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Okay, Rick, can we have an update on your spring class at this point?
Sure. So I'm trying to finish up my mailing piece. I'm about done. So I'm done means I'm going to send it out to, actually, I'm going to ask for Heather's input and a couple other people to see what they think about what I developed. Give me some feedback on that. That's my actual promo piece that I'm going to mail out to people and probably put the same thing on the website, I suppose. Then I'll be talking to William about setting up a link for the class fees and getting people in there. I'm going to be doing a telephone and email campaign myself. So
that's great. Yeah.
I'm just going to call people in the area and send them personal emails and see how to drum up. Carol Chappell is remarkable in that regard and helping me. I mean, she is, talking to people. She is setting up on Friday night. Al's going up there too to meet some people that want to meet us. Not that they're going to come to class necessarily, but they're interested in knowing about the Prosperos. So we'll have that little get together on Friday before the class. So that's pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Having Carol on your team is an amazing thing. You guys remember. Seriously.
Yes,
So,
that's excellent.
So that I guess I would say that looks pretty good. I don't have a feel for how many people might be there at this moment in time, but I do know some people that are coming, probably 6 or 7 at this moment.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Before I send my piece out, I don't know if that's going to generate anything, but we'll see. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So it looks right now. It's looking pretty good. Let's see. So Pam, can you send me the link again? Well, let me ask a question. Am I supposed to put this on the HighWatch site that has the classes schedule myself, or is that something you actually do?
Now what?
If I'm going to post this, make sure it's out there on our list of classes that we have in the spreadsheet that you developed, right? Is that something I'm supposed to edit, or am I supposed to tell you about?
I'm not. I'm still not sure what you're talking about.
I think that what he's saying is what is the protocol? And the protocol is that it should go to you and to Hugh John so that it can be posted. Gotcha. So that way, then not everyone has their hands on that, so that it can show up.
Where?
Your schedule of classes.
Is this Google Docs? Is this my agenda?
It's a planning calendar. He's talking about the planning calendar.
Oh, the planning calendar. Oh, I think you're on there. I think you're already on there.
You're right, but I'm just asking if I post for myself for my own class, or if I'm supposed to go through you and you.
No, you just send it to me and I'll put it on for you. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you meant.
Sorry. Yes, that's what I meant.
Question.
Yes, Heather.
When is that? March?
Heather, wait a minute. Wait. Okay.
I'm sorry, when?
April 25.
Okay, all right, go ahead then. Sorry.
Okay, Heather.
Who sees the planning calendar?
Anybody that goes to Google Docs or that it's also posted on the Bathtub Bulletin, and it will be posted in our newsletter. But the place that they go to find what has been accepted first goes as ideas or whatever to Pam. It then goes, I guess, to the Executive Council. And then from there, is it Hugh John that then places it on there, or what?
Either one of us can do it, but he's been putting the ones that are definite on there. And
approved.
Yeah, approved. And I've been putting everything else on there. And
also,
I put the non-Prospero classes on.
Oh, okay.
Because they've got a different color also.
Yes. Okay. Heather, did you have any other question?
Well, like say somebody in Madison that starts to get interested in what the heck is this Prosperos? And that I could send them to, where do I send them to see this planning calendar? Why, we got a class in Oregon coming up in April, and we've got a class in Connecticut coming, whatever. How do I send them to this planning calendar?
Okay, the planning calendar is just for ourselves.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
And what happens is from that planning calendar, those that are considered Prospero sponsored would then go on to our website and to the Bathtub Bulletin at this point.
And who puts them on the website? On the Prosperos website would be William.
So it would be Hugh John, William. What the thing is, information first comes into Pam. It's then processed through Hugh John, and then is then put into the varying communication systems, either through William or Michael Zonta at this point.
But if you are trying to get approval, You just skip me. There's nothing I can do about that. Go to trustees and executive council with that and the deed for approval. I don't have anything to do with that.
I don't have any of this really working, so I don't have any website or link to send some new students interested in the Prosperos. So, hey,
it's prosperos.org.
Yeah, prosperos.org. And again, I think everybody's working as fast as they can to get this stuff going for new students.
Yeah, based on the resources that we have, I think it's really moving ahead. We've identified that the bottleneck is the technical aspect of it, and we've asked that anyone with technical background that wants to help William to help him. So that's really where that is right now.
Okay.
But as far as having the information about classes and things, that is on the website already.
Yeah, we had trouble in the FYL trying to pay the dues because we didn't know where to go on the website. And it's the only thing I picked up on the website was home. And that was, and there's no place to type in to go to pay your dues, you know.
Okay, when we were asking earlier, Alex, about the group, that is really important. That's some of the kind of information that we need so that we can get that straightened out. So paying the
FYL dues.
Or whatever, that needs to be handled. Rick?
I already took it. It's on prosperos.com, which is the audio site, right? So I sent a link out to the FYL group, and I see a couple of them have paid.
Oh, it's under audio?
But prosperos.com, prosperos.org is the website, the new one that William's working on. Prosperos.com is what we used to call the audio center, but there's a donation button still there. I sent out the link to, you should have the link too, Alex, because I sent it to you too.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We can do that. Information like this.
We need to get it on the org site, right?
Yes.
Pretty obvious. Yeah.
But right now, that is anyone that's wanting to make donations or make payments, they would then go to the prosperos.com site.
That's right.
And there's a donation button that's there, and they can make payment. They can do whatever
guys,
they need to do.
Okay, guys, I'm on the front page of that right now, and it's not obvious to me where to go.
Let me look at it. I think there's a place for contributions there.
On .com or .org?
.com.
.com?
Yes, prosperos.com.
I'm at .org.
No, you went .com. And then you'll see a contribution button in the top right.
Let me get there.
Right?
One thing that we might want to make clear is that if anyone is interested in classes or that, then or information about classes, that they would go to the prosperos.com, because there are audio tapes and things that they can listen to right there on that site.
Mm-hmm.
But basic information.
Is there a link on the .org to this?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So that might be something else.
Totally under construction.
Yeah.
So that may be something. .org is under construction right now. Generally, where people go is to prosperos.com, because that's the one that's the oldest and most established. On the .com, it has our classes, Sunday meeting talks, different things like that. So you get that type of information there. So we need to be clear about what information is where when we're talking to individuals. So Heather, I guess if you have your people or whatever, that they would, you might want to direct them to prosperos.com
Well,
and they can,
Prosperos.com is great, but when you go to closed class instruction, it has cosmic intention therapy class, but no link to anything. There's no information here.
Yeah.
Advanced seminar, no information. Translation, RHS, self-encounter, they are all just words. There's no linkages. You don't go anywhere to find information.
then that's something that that William, as I mentioned earlier, these
Okay.
kinds of things that we're talking about, William needs to be aware of, and that there is a document that people can put this kind of information on, so that William then can start working on the website. So it's good that this has come up, so that we can kind of see ideas that we want to have placed on William's Google Docs for the changes and movements in there, and then we can report on that from what we get back from William.
I sent him the capsule descriptions of the classes that we have in our information brochure, so he has those whenever he chooses to put them on.
Yeah.
And just to say something, that was one of the in the meeting that I had, and also what I did was do a, what would you call that, a inventory or a questionnaire on people that have not been involved with the Prosperos for a while, also new people, as to what they thought of prosperos.org. And I had given that list to William, and one of the things was that we needed to have a glossary of our terms in that. So that is something that he is now aware of and will be working on. So by using that and going to that form, then we can have solutions start taking place. Okay? All right.
Yeah, we can get an FAQ page up eventually and all kinds of things, but
Yeah.
it does all down on William right now.
And that's why I'm saying the bottleneck is that we only have one person that is working on that, and that can be detrimental to any project. But at this time, we can start saying the kinds of things that we'd like to see take place. Rick, did you want to say something there?
No, I'm just stumbling around here. I mean, I can
Okay.
follow this some point, but
I saw a little bit of
Smoke.
query in the face. So okay.
yes.
So,
Oh well, my query was, I want to get involved with that, but I don't want to do anything until I finish that RHS class. All my
no, that I
Yeah,
understand.
there
right.
now, so
No.
I'm not gonna volunteer for that right yet.
No. And so again, we're just right now as a mentors association coming up with ideas, making sure that they go to the right department so that they can be worked on.
Hmm.
So that's great. Okay. Sunday meeting talks and schedules. In our update on that, I think everyone has seen the video that Zoe and Ben has put together. And it can be used as what Heather had mentioned, that she's already sent it out to several people. So I thought that was wonderful. Heather, did you want to say something about that?
Did I send out?
The video. The video.
You walk away and something happens.
What happened? The video that Ben and Zoe had done. The
Yeah,
Sunday meeting.
I'm meeting new people here, and when I got that video and I listened to it, I was just excited. What Pam said, and what Calvin and Al and Richard said, it was wonderful. It was well done. It was just fabulous. And so anyway, so I sent it out to about, I don't know, 25 people who are part of a group that get together for called Exploring Spirituality. And
Oh,
believe
that's wonderful.
that all kind of, yeah. So so I sent it out to them. I haven't heard back. I just sent it out yesterday. I haven't heard back from
Oh
anyone.
my goodness, yeah, no, and usually there's going to be one or two people that you hear from, and that doesn't mean the rest hasn't seen it. It just is they're not that active. So that's great. So this is one of the things that that Sunday meeting talks can do, and if done well.
Yeah.
And we do know that this one was really polished and polished and polished. And that's one thing that we want to keep in mind as mentors in doing our presentations is that if it doesn't appear to be right that first time, then take it down, polish it, then put it back up. Heather.
Just got an idea. I like the idea of a couple of people each sharing 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a couple of us could work together as a team and focus on one word that is important to us, that is significant to everybody, maybe. I mean, I don't know. To me, creativity is very important.
Oh, yeah.
Climate change, then use a problem and then we would each approach it and talk about it at a Sunday meeting rather than just have the one person talk. I mean, you know.
Well, this is the first venture in that, and we want to kind of have it shake out, see you get some of the kinks out, look at it, and then decide. But yes, Heather, I think what you're saying is really wonderful, and definitely a direction to go. Um, um, I think doing that instead of saying that that is something that we're going to put on a meeting like this, always that we're saying that we need to do research and development. And I think that that's one thing that we learned from Zoe's thing is that she made personal contact to the people that she felt that would be good for that. And talk with them and came up with that. So whoever is going to do that kind of collaborative work, there needs to be somebody that's going to take the helm and work with that and get that done. Now, I know that whole thing took several months. That wasn't something that took place in a day. And that's something that we have to come to is that, yes, our ideas must be developed, must be talked to, not within the context of this meeting, but in the groups that are going to be presenting these things. And then let's see where it goes. But yes, no, that's something that we definitely want to look at. Anyone else want to say something in regards to this?
Suppose that we get 3 of us together who are interested in this topic, dealing with young people. They're dealing with, I've got a 12-year-old that comes to my drawing session. She says she's trans. I am dysmorphic. I am whatever. They are huge. We need to have one Sunday meeting about gender fluidity. And who wants to work on that? We should work on that and generate connections with young people.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of those people, then, Heather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heather, like I said, I would suggest, because that topic is so huge, that you make personal contact with whoever says they do that, and then really kind of hash that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. There's a lot of topics we could talk in a group.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One thing that made that meeting that Zoe had so affecting was that it was personal experiences, moment of change, not testimonials, but just
Yes.
relating experience. And this idea of shared experience is supposed to be what the Prosperos is all about. It differentiates it from IAT sending out lessons. You know, that there was, we used to have on the banner of our newsletter, it said not just news, but community. And that is the real selling points of the Prosperos. if we can gin it up again, you know.
Yeah, no, that's important.
I would just want to say this is that piggybacking on what Janet said is that what you might want to consider, Heather, is an individual who our reactions and how we were able to integrate through the Prosperos um, um, teachings, this inclusiveness of these individuals that were here, and do stories about that, such as Peppy. I remember Peppy years ago. I don't know how many of you remember Peppy. And that, there you go. And then how that happened. Right now, I've gone out socially with this woman and her trans husband, which is very, very interesting. And some of the transitions and the things, we've gone out, they were able to go dancing and this sort of thing. So these are things that are happening within someone's life that someone else then could relate to and say, this is not, oh, that these people are there, but how these people are actually interacting and being effective within people's lives. There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, if I
Pam.
were going to do it, what I would be.
Wait, Rick.
I'm sorry.
Pam, and then
Right.
and then you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Heather, you might talk to Suzanne too. You know, she just published a
She's
book.
on my list. She's on my list. I've read her book. Did you read her book?
Yeah, I haven't finished it, but yes, I've got it and I'm reading it. Yes, very good.
Okay, Rick.
I just wanted to say, if I was going to do a group thing, I'd like to get together some young people who, and I'll probably draw on my son and his friends, just to show people that when they get together, and these are all kinds of people that are straight, they're gay, they're trans, or whatever, and you can see that none of them care about what kind of sexuality the person follows. I mean, that would be a good expression, just to say it's all not even considered to be different, right? It's just,
Exactly.
this is how we are.
This and this is the thing, because if we blow it up too big, then it's the kind of thing that gets ridiculous. Because I can remember when there was a whole business about because being a child of the 1950s, there were so many people that were doing gay activities and doing gay things, and it was not a big deal. Once the label gay came up, then became, well, what are the lines? What are the lines? And we don't want lines being created. We want to see that fluidity. It's been, since that happened in the 70s or the 80s, it's taken this long so that people can now feel that it doesn't matter again. But if then something is blown up too much, all of a sudden, then there's strictures, there's lines, there's all kinds of things. So anyway,
it's the difference between a river rise and a flood. You know, people get scared if it goes too fast.
Oh yeah, and then it's like, oh my goodness, you know. And then it's like, well, we can't touch anymore. People, men used to all go naked into the water. They used to wrestle. They used to do all kinds of things. All of a sudden, no, we can't touch.
Well, the other thing is, it isn't universal around the world, or
no,
even within the United States. You know, so there's hope. You know, and the kids are you know, perfectly okay with it, and but the rest of us have to catch up.
So I agree with what Rick was saying, to have young people as part of that. Also, how that has affected us, rather than this is something outside of ourselves. No, we need to bring that in and it be inclusive in how it's affected. And so that might be, like I said, this meeting isn't really the one to go over that, but individuals interested in that, what you might want to do, Heather, is try and get a group together and to talk about this, and then to move that forward that way.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We have a bunch of those books, Sexuality in the Sea of Creation.
There you go.
I don't know how relevant that still is.
Well, I can tell you one of my um, cultural history people really came out and said that. What remember Ur, who is from the
Mm-hmm.
Middle East and that kind of thing. It was very crucial to him, and one of the things that got him into the Prosperos, even though he's a straight man with married with children. So I mean, you don't know. Something may seem out of date, but it may not be. Okay, moving on. So that was Sunday meetings. Anything else about Sunday meetings that someone wants to bring up? Know today that Hugh John is having a Sunday meeting this morning. Okay, then moving on because we got just one or two more items. Um, on my report, I have the address for Assembly 2020 as far as the address and the phone number goes on. We have made new comments about that, and that is the reservations now can include the Thursday before and the Monday after. So if someone's getting there early or needs to stay a little bit longer, plus by having those days in there, it gives us more credibility in negotiating in the coming years for room rates and that. So that Thursday and Monday would be available, and I believe until such times as they're not, because since they weren't actually part of the original contract. Rick, did you want to talk about that?
Well, as long as they have availability, they'll do it. But so and so and I don't know how many people take advantage of that. I mean, I just booked that suite for Al to be
Mm-hmm.
that time frame because he wanted that, so and I was able to do that, so I know that works. At some point, though, when they're out of rooms, then they'll be telling us, no, we can't do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know when that point is. So.
Okay, so I had gone ahead, and part of the problem was that when I went to book my reservation, I had to book in our block from Friday through Sunday, but that Thursday is on a different reservation. So this is why I'm letting individuals know that that is available for a short time now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other things is when we're talking to individuals, please be aware that the Westin Westminster Hotel is 29 miles from Denver's International Airport, which means that there has to be that the people that are coming into the airport, that they need to make sure of their plans to get to the hotel. Now, we have some people that are going to be there, but we're not going to have shuttle service every 10 minutes leaving from the airport and coming to the hotel. So individuals need to know what their particular options are. On the information that you have there, you see that there are shuttle services for $35. There is the taxi service, which is probably $60, and there are what we would call Metrolinks, which they call train service, which is $9 that they can take. So we need to let individuals be aware of that. Getting to the hotel is not just a matter of their plane ride to Colorado, and then someone can pick them up. There may be a situation we don't want people distressed. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if they take that train or whatever, there is a drop-off point that is within the parameter of Westminster. It's a mile or two, and then the hotel can arrange complimentary shuttle pickup from there. And if individuals are deciding to do something on their own, either before or after the event, there is Colorado and Denver information through through their tourist board, which would include traffic attractions and that. So when you're talking to individuals, then these are the kinds of things that you may want to bring up. Heather.
Is there anything in print? You're just talking to 6 of us here,
Mm-hmm.
and this has very
Mhm.
information. Is this anywhere?
This needs to be put together. An information page needs to be put together.
And that's something that as we get closer will be done. But this is something that, since we are starting to talk to people about this is something that we need to be aware of. And then, yes, you're absolutely right. A information page will need to be done. And that usually is done a little bit later when people are really on board. Right now, we don't even have the articles out. And so they're not aware of that at this point. Okay. Rick, did you want to talk a little bit about that MailChimp?
Sure. So, I mean, I created an account for the Prosperos and I'm starting to populate it. So there will be a section for, I guess what I call our members, our students, such as we send out in various emails today. I am adding, we got 30 Fox names, as we used to call them, from the Expo, right? So I'm going to add those and create a Fox area, as well as, a Prospero student mailing list, which we can, be something similar to what we really used to use in the past, right? So I'll probably have that done sometime this week, and then I'll probably send out that information to a lot of us just to see if I've missed anybody. So I'll try to pick up as many people as I can. I want to publish it out to you guys so you can look at it and see if you know somebody that I missed, so we can make it as complete as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
We've got a lot of signatures at the expo.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
What I was talking about for the Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The issue of dues. Did we want to vote on that at this point?
Well, before we do that, do we want to? I mean, some people may not know about the expo, what we're talking about.
Oh.
So at least at this meeting.
Well, wait a minute.
So
hold on just a moment then. Because of the time constraint, I'm really trying to, I don't mean to be cutting people off, but we're already at the 10 o'clock mark. So,
okay. All right.
Does anybody here not know about the expo? Let's ask that first.
I haven't heard any
Well,
reports.
Come to the High Watch meeting, because I'm Janet's going to report on it there.
Okay. Well, so we're meeting tomorrow night. Just so everyone knows, we're meeting tomorrow night, and we're going to develop a report for everybody about our experience and things that went right, things that went wrong, things we want to change for next time, what we need to bring, and all that happy stuff, right? So.
Perfect. Okay, so there is a report that will be coming out, and we should be seeing it by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So that takes care of that. Now,
regarding the dues payment.
Okay. Then the next thing, I guess, is dues. Now, we've had a week or two to think about this. The question was whether to, I think it had all boiled down to whether we felt we needed to collect dues this year. Well, this year's halfway gone, or do we want to enact something where the dues will be collected annually beginning in 2021? So can we have a brief conversation
Well-
on
Here's my input. Did we ever change and say that we were not going to collect them every year? Did we?
but we
put that?
didn't
No.
carry through.
No, I'm just asking. Did
No,
we ever
no.
say that?
No.
Because my
No.
impression is that I need to pay every year. That's my impression. But I mean,
We
I
do.
don't know.
That's the way I felt.
That's
Well,
just
I
me.
believe we decided that we have an annual meeting, whether or not we have an annual meeting at assembly.
Right.
No, the trustees
Yeah.
have an annual meeting, even if it's not in the same room.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So, if you want to vote at the annual meeting, you pay annual dues. And since it's 50 cents a week, that's sofa cushion change. Anybody can do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well-
We're not talking about the price, but again, with the time frame that is here,
Right.
there's two issues. Okay, so what individuals' understandings were. We have had votes and all kinds of things, and there has not been dues that were paid. So what I'm saying is, does that negate everything that's gone before, or and this is an abrupt wake up call? Because one thing that we have to realize is that things have to be said over and over and over again, or people forget.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
we haven't sent out notices. of
We
dues.
haven't sent out.
Right.
No, we did not, as a group, send out notices and ask for money. We didn't do it this year, and we only did it at the assembly, and that was all because the assembly took place. So I think the responsibility should be ours, and that we make sure that the assembly that's coming up this year, that is again initiated, and individuals can then plan for it.
Okay. It was at our last meeting.
Mhm.
I said that I would draft a notice to go out to all the membership, all the mentors and interns, and get feedback on the process. And I
Okay.
haven't had a chance to do that. So no, nothing has gone out. I will
So then we
work on
need to
that.
table this then?
Well, I can work on it and send you a draft,
Okay.
and or send out send you a draft, and then we can table it till the next meeting. But at least I'll work on getting something together, a notice to go to the membership.
So that would include saying that there is an annual meeting coming up, either by Zoom or at the assembly, and dues are payable before that meeting, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Or at or before. We had a problem.
But you
with-
see, we're already how far we're already into it for
Yeah.
this. I mean, this is all almost to create a hailstorm at this point with individuals. It may be that you are wanting to set this up for next year, since we dropped the ball. It was not the students' fault. We dropped the ball this year because we were not pulled together to ask for dues. So I think good customer service in any company, if they didn't do something, they go, okay, we'll eat it this time, but we will make sure that that's been instituted. Or are you going to do?
That's what we're doing.
No. Let's table this. Calvin, you and I can talk.
Okay.
We'll put something together and then have it for the next meeting.
Okay. That
Otherwise,
sounds
we're
good.
going to be talking about this for the next hour.
Yeah, and we got to get off. So, all right. So
Yeah.
that was that. Okay. Then another thing that was going to be new business was the business of changing our Mentors Association meeting to either once every 2 months, or leaving it as it is. How did we want to do that? Is there any talk about that? I just think that there is so much that comes up each meeting that dragging it, especially when we're trying to establish what needs to go into the newsletter, what needs to go into the other things, that having meetings farther and farther out, it would not be of advantageous to us at this point. But
I think you need once a month.
huh?
I think you need once a month.
I do too. But that's my feeling. Anyone else?
Yeah, I go along with
Well,
that.
I'm the one that originally initiated the idea of change because I attend 3 meetings a month, and it's getting to be a lot. So that's why I brought up the idea.
Hmm. But as far
What
as
we
the
need to do is have more going on so more people get involved so that people aren't doing 3 different jobs.
That's good.
yeah.
That's never happened in the process.
So
Well,
why
maybe
start
it's
now? Oh,
So again, as I said, the vote is on. So those in favor of changing the schedule, say yay or nay. Those that say yay, those that say nay.
Oh, I don't
Hey,
know.
hey,
I feel sorry. I feel for Ann and those other people.
But I know what Ann is saying because I'm pressured like that too because I got 5 or 6 different things in the family. But I do know the importance of this, and if we do that, we are putting ourselves in jeopardy. Every week there is major things that come up. But anyway,
Okay, so right now we're just voting whether to change or not, but we haven't voted on how.
yeah.
well, if we don't change, we don't have to worry about how.
And it seems like we took a vote and the don't change won. So there you go. All right.
Well, I voted for change. Sorry.
Oh, you did.
Oh,
Oh, you did. Well, it doesn't matter. That was okay. Do we want to take the vote again, or do we? Or are we okay? Those in favor of change, say, raise your hand. 1. Okay. Those against
I
change.
believe
Yes,
Anna's
and
change also.
yeah,
two.
Ann
my
does.
Okay,
hand is
so that's
raised.
2.
But
Okay. Those against changing the meeting format at this point, raise your hand.
I'll say aye.
Okay. So
hello.
the don't change have it. Okay.
but just for the future, think of something like every 6 weeks or something that would give those people a break every once in a while in a month.
Well, that's something that maybe once we get the bottleneck that's happening in our newsletter and several other
Right.
things, this does not mean that this is written in stone forever. We can come back and review
thank
this
God.
at other times. And this is what I think we get confused on, that this is for right now. This does not mean that in 6 months from now we can't review it. A year from now we can't review it. It's just right now, and because we're at such a critical juncture. Okay, let's see. What else do we got?
I think the next thing on the agenda is aloha.
Oh, no. The next thing is who's going to do the invocation? Is there a,
I'll do one.
okay, so Pam is going to do the invocation. Good. Okay. And the date of our next meeting.
Oh,
Let's
Oh, we
see.
got 5 Sundays in March. Goody.
Oh, good.
Whoa.
I want the 29th.
Okay, wait a minute now. 29th is trustees meeting. I believe.
Okay, I want the 22nd.
When you say you want, is that for the trust for
High
the
watch.
high watch? Okay, so that gives us the 1st, 8th, and 15th. What about the 15th for the for the?
Midterm meeting. Good, I vote for it.
Okay,
The
all
Ides
those
of March? Bet.
Oh, no, good.
those that all in favor
Oh.
of
Wait.
what?
I've
Okay,
got to do I'm supposed to do the Sunday meeting on the 15th.
You are?
well that's okay. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Confused then.
You can have an alternate person take notes on the meeting.
I think so. Oh, we'll just
Janet,
record
would you
it like we're
mind
doing
taking the
now.
notes for that meeting if we have it on the 15th?
Well, I suppose I could since I take them for the High Watch.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so
Well, Calvin
so
can
now that we
record
got
it,
the
so
vote,
we'll have it.
those in favor of our next meeting being March 15th, raise your hand.
Yeah, aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Those opposed? Okay. So it
Hmm.
seems as though that the March 15th will be the date. We have the invocation. And now at that point, is there anything else? If not, then I will close the meeting at 10:12. Okay, well, there doesn't seem to be anything else. All in favor of the
Nope.
meeting being closed at 10:12?
Aye.
Aye.
Right?
No opposed? There we go. Thank you all very much. I'll say aloha for now.
Aloha.
Thank
And
you.
do you want to
Aloha.
stay on the phone for just a minute?
Who?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right. Aloha.
I'll say aloha to everybody else.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Calvin.
I'm sorry about snowballing that last bit.
That's
But
okay.
I
So I
saw
wasn't
the
paying attention
time
to
and
the
I'm going,
time.
oh my goodness.
I know.
But that's what happens when individuals want to talk about something in this meeting. This meeting is just like a reports meeting, not really that we're going to do anything. That's going to be the smaller groups. But
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
so there was there was this one or two things that went on that one, we had talked about what was going to be going into the Google Docs
Mm-hmm.
and I think we had talked about that there was some things that really need to be in there. One of which would be the mentors notes. So have those have those started going in there yet?
You mean the minutes
Yeah, the minutes.
from Pat? No, I haven't done anything about that.
Okay. So I think that those need to go in there.
Yeah.
Um, um, I think oh, I'm trying to think what else.
Well,
Any
the mentors reference book should be in there.
right? Okay, I have a copy. I don't know if it's the most up to date copy or not. So I don't think that I'm the one that needs to put that in there. I think that needs to come from somebody.
Well, no, well, yeah. Hugh John said, and I have to go back and look at the web page.
Hmm.
Hugh John said it was on the web page, so
Oh,
I just have to find it, and then I mean I could talk with William about it too.
right.
So I'm making myself a note.
Hmm.
And then when we get the fees, class fees
Right. That's another thing that
process
needs.
worked
Yes.
out, then we need to put that on there too.
I think so, and I think that fees and that need to be updated. At least every year or so, or looked at who's
Well,
doing what or whatever.
yeah, well, the trustees are working on that.
Yeah,
Um,
because I
the
mean, I see things that do a hell of a lot less than we do, and they're charging $4,000 and $5,000, and you mean that we can't charge 300? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do. We've been doing research with various groups
Okay, good.
to find out who's doing what and what they're charging.
Yes.
And so we've been trying to come up with a middle of the road set of fees
Right.
that will be realistic but
Mm-hmm.
not scare people off. But
Mm-hmm.
we also have to have the follow through so that people get what they paid for.
Absolutely, and I think that
So,
we're working on that on the three-pronged situation, because that's what happened to me when I went to those young people in Wisconsin. Was the fact that there was no Find Yourself and Live that was set up so that they could go directly into that. There was no newsletter in that, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago. So I
Well, and
understand
yeah,
about. So I
yeah, and it's
understand about.
because we haven't had an active group that was
Mm-mm,
doing anything
mm-mm,
until 2 years ago when we started.
absolutely.
Restarted with the High Watch and the
Hmm.
Mentors Association.
hmm Well,
So,
but so this is the other thing when Heather jumps up and wants to start moving along, I'm going, you got to think about your resources, and you got to think about that it's not going to be done overnight. And
right, yeah,
I think that there's that disconnect between the idea and plan and what it takes, because we don't want to at the same time burn out anybody.
no, no. Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, this is this is what we talked about in last Monday's meeting, that
Hmm.
this basically could be a job, just a
Absolutely.
job in the Prosperos for somebody
Absolutely.
to do this.
And
And,
that would mean that they would have to be paid.
yeah,
And that's
but what a
something that we
concept.
I mean, it's crazy, but and this is
Mm-hmm,
one of the things that we need to come to, is that
mm-hmm,
we are needing to create in the future professional mentors who can do counseling and who can do classes, and that will be their income. And that's what I'm
right.
doing in my research and development class. It's not only to let them go through the thing, but what are the practical things that you need to look at, and financial decisions that you need to make if you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm,
So this is that whole business. It's not about understanding the Prosperos Mentors Handbook. It's all of the practical things that are necessary that they need to do, including knowing how to write reports, getting out the things, and all of these kinds of things that we all had training on at the center that we don't anymore.
mm-hmm,
So that's the direction with that. Yeah, so
right.
that. Okay. Well, thank you for staying on, because I think that that was really the one of the major things that was going on with that, is that we needed to kind of consider moving that Google Docs forward. And then it was also the
Mm-hmm.
report that we were going to write. What was that report now?
Well, that's going to be the idea of the dues payments.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
so what I'll do is I'll put something together and I'll
Okay.
send it to you, and then we can talk about it and then have it ready for presentation at the next meeting.
Great. Okay. Sounds good.
We could even send it out. We could send it out to everybody and ask for feedback,
Oh
and then we could
Lord.
have.
You know what that would do. That would.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll
All right.
just anyway,
Okay.
you and I'll work on it, and then we'll go from there.
That sounds good. Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much for taking the extra time.
You're welcome, dear. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too.
I know Hugh
Aloha.
John's got the aloha.